workplace, there's the expectation that people will have to code switch, some more than others. There's a difference between code switching and cultural agility, and the difference is really power. I'm Dr. Anna Kalschmidt. I'm an industrial organizational psychologist, and I research the unwritten rules of work for people from working class backgrounds and neurodivergence with intersections of race and gender. Code switching is when somebody has to adapt into the dominant group all the time, and the dominant group does not have to switch. The dominant group is assumed to be normal in the way things are. Cultural agility is when you can recognize somebody else's culture and you can be agile enough to shift and adapt to cultural norms, such as in the US, we shake hands when we greet each other, but when I'm abroad, that may not be the appropriate greeting. Recently, I did a workshop with manufacturing companies, and I talked to them about the unwritten rule of indirect communication, how that is expected in like upper white collar areas to be the norm of communication. And then when people transition from working class, they come into these environments and they're like, why is everybody beating around the bush? Why is nobody saying anything? Does anybody know what's even going on? Are these people competent? Similar problem for people who are neurodivergent because indirect requires reading a lot of context cues, which is hard for them. Even for people in these cultures, 70% of business leaders say communication is their number one issue, so there's a lot of room for error. Code switching is requiring everyone to adapt to the indirect communication because that's the upper middle class, white collar, white way of doing things. What I trained these leaders to do was work on cultural agility for themselves and acknowledge it with the employees. I provided a framework for them to help blend cultural directness with indirectness so that their employees aren't offending their customers if they expect indirect communication, but they're also not betraying themselves. And not all customers want indirect communication. I don't want to have to call somewhere and listen to the whole script of you kissing my ass to get the job done. I just want you to fix it. Even if every customer who walks into your building wants indirect communication, at least you as a manager have acknowledged to your employee that I recognize you have cultural differences. I recognize my way isn't the only way. And I'm just helping you upskill yourself so that you can reach more customers than you would in only your own culture. Expecting everyone to be just like you is weird, people.